Welcome back. This is part 2 for setting up and connecting devices using SSH. For this, we will be setting up the internet with the IP addresses. So we are going to start with the router, console into it, and we'll connect to it using our terminal. Already configure our terminal. Oh, get to enable it. Which are, if you remember, enable password. There we go. And config C. There we go. Now we will set up the internet for the router. Start by interfacing gigabit port 0, 0, and then we'll put in our IP address of 10.0.0.1, 255.255.255.0, which is the prefix of 24. And then we'll put in no shut to change the line to up. And then we can interface gigabit port G01. And then we'll put IP address 10.0.1.1 with our prefix of 24. Put in no shut to change the state to up. And then we will be going on to configure our switches. We'll console in to switch 1. Now, go through our terminal. Okay, we'll have to enter in our password. Oh. Okay. There we go. Oh, maybe not. And there we go. Good little note. Don't forget your password. Now we put in the enable password. There we go. Figure terminal. Interface VLAN 1. Put in our IP address. And that one is going to be 10.0.1.2 with a prefix of 24. And now we can come out of here. Console in to our second switch. Go through our terminal. Put in our password. There we go. Enable password. There we go. Configure the terminal. Interface VLAN 1. Whoops. VLAN 1. And set our IP address as 10.0.0.2 with a prefix of 24. And we can come out of that. And now we are going to set up the computer's IP addresses. So for each computer, you will go through and go to your IP configuration settings. So for PC1, it's 10.0.1.3 with a prefix of 24. For our second PC, we'll go through. It'll be 10.0.1.4 with a prefix of 24. Our third PC will have 10.0.1.5 with our prefix of 24. Moving over to the business side on PC4, we have our configuration of 10.0.0.3 with our prefix of 24. PC5 10.0.0.4 with the prefix of 24. And lastly, 10.0.0.5 with a prefix of 24 on PC6. Alrighty, now that we've finished setting up our IP addresses and internet stuff, we can now test it by pinging it. So we can go to one of our computers, go to the command prompt, go to ping, and put in one of our IP addresses. Oops, there we go. And as we can see, it comes back 0% loss. If you did get a loss, you could check to make sure that, go back through the video and check to make sure that all of your configuration and IP addresses are correctly set up, including things like the host and RIP, as well as make sure all your cabling is properly set up. And then once again, we can test it from over here. And we can see that it works. Alrighty, that was part 2 of setting up and devices to use SSH.